I read a few places people talking about hukam, talking about the divine law of God. And I heard terms like, you are exactly where you are supposed to be in your life. And then adding a Bani Pankti to that as well. And that broke my heart. And I thought that, how about if somebody is doing something very negative and bad to somebody? Say if there's somebody that is doing some really bad, horrible things to someone, and somebody's telling you that's exactly where Waheguru wants you to be. Does that make sense? We say things without even thinking about it. And then we add Gurbani to it. And then we say, Hukme andar sabko. And we say that, everything is happening within the divine law of God. And then we say that, you know what, you're exactly where Waheguru wants you to be. You're exactly where God wants you to be. But then say if somebody is doing something really horrible and nasty to you, is that exactly where God wants that person to be doing that? It's a question. It's not a statement. Think about it, ponder on it. How much do we actually contemplate Gurbani? How much do we actually dive deep into what our Guru is saying to us? Gurbani says that Bani birlo bicharsi. What does that mean? Guru Sahib said there's very few that actually contemplate Gurbani. Would you agree with that? There's plenty of people that read Gurbani, but there's not many people that contemplate Gurbani. Right, so then we make statements like that you're exactly where Waheguru wants you to be, and then say if there's a murderer, say if there's somebody that is doing horrible things to children, is that where Waheguru wants them to be? What do you think? Benji? Be confident, say it out, yes or no? No, because I wouldn't want to believe in that type of God. And that's how we create atheists. And that's when we then have people say, well, forget it. Because we say things and we've not contemplated what we're saying. And then you've got Panktiyan like this. So what does it mean that everything is happening within the divine laws of God? It means that this creation is made out of Panch Tat, out of 5 elements. The Guru tells us that. Panch Tat ko tan rachyo, jano chatur sajan, jehte upajyo nanka, leen tahe main. You can say the last word, leen tahe main man. Look, this creation's made out of the 5 elements. What does it mean everything's within the divine laws of God? It doesn't mean that there's a God sitting there somewhere in the sky and placing people in certain places and saying, yeah, you'll do that. You'll commit that crime against that child and it's exactly where I want you to be. There's no such thing as that. You know why we end up saying things like that? Because we're trying to humanize God, and God isn't like that. We're trying to understand God through the emotions that we experience. We try and understand God through the feelings that we experience, that we have. But God isn't like that. God is beyond. Na oho mara, na hove sog. There's no sorrow where God's concerned. God doesn't come to an end. God is beyond anything that we could ever imagine. Agam agochar. There's no limit to you. You are outside of the reach of my senses. So this whole creation's been made out of these 5 elements, and we cannot escape the laws of those 5 elements. We've got a choice whether we want to touch that fire. But have you got a choice of what that fire is going to do to you? Like, can you change the element of water from being wet, from being what it is? Can you change that? It's not possible, is it? Like if you touch that water, you're gonna, it's wet, it's gonna make your hands wet. That's the nature of water. That's what it means. Hukme andar sabko. You cannot escape it. But can you choose to touch that water? Yes. So is this making more sense now? So does it make sense to say statements like that? Then what's the point of being human beings if we haven't got the ability to escape our karmic bondage? As human beings, we all have the ability to become conscious beings and actually make decisions in our life where they're not bound to our karmic experiences. Because when we say karma, all we're saying is, if we was to translate that another way, we're saying, when we say karma, we're saying everything I've experienced. Isn't that what we're saying? Everything that I've experienced in this life and all my previous lives. But why does it feel like I haven't got a choice? Why does it sometimes feel like that everything's being done to me? Because we're not escaping that cyclic karma that we are stuck in. Our karma ends up creating our path instead of us becoming conscious and creating our own path. Your influence from your karma that is making you go round and round in circles, and then these stupid things that people, sorry kids, these silly things that people keep telling you. Like, no, it's meant to happen, or this, that, and the other. We forget that, like, do we forget that the Guru said, Ape beej, ape hi khao? Does that just become irrelevant at some point? Look, people say that happened to you, like God made that happen to you for a reason. No, like you sowed that seed and something folded out from that. Don't say that God's doing that to you to teach you a lesson. God isn't a banda sitting there trying to punish people. It doesn't work like that. But yes, we can learn from it. Or you can destroy yourself from it as well. People say everything's happened for a reason, to teach you a lesson. What about those people then that end up carrying out acts like suicide? Like did God mess up in teaching them that lesson then? We don't even know what we're saying, we're just babbling. People say like, all right, what about suicide? Was that was it meant to happen? As in like, did God already scribed that? There's 7.8 billion just human beings, and then the rest of the creation and the creatures that exist. You think God's like a man that sits there think, next week I'm going to make sure that happens to you, and then for you that happens for you. No, it's a forever flowing pen. Sabna likhya vudi kalam, that it's constant flowing pen. As you are sowing, you cannot escape what you are sowing, and it's just folding out. But jo mange means I can sow that seed. So let's try and take the Guru's wisdom in. Not read something from a spiritual page from somewhere and just twist those words around and bring them and then add a pankti to it as well and say, yeah, you're meant to be where you are and all of this. Like, no, let's bring our language with Gurmat. Because the Guru isn't saying that. The Guru's telling us, take responsibility. The Guru's saying, stop blaming people. And what do? We blame God. Yeah, God wanted us to be here. Guru's saying, look, yo, don't bring me into this. Katak karam kamavane, what you're sowing, your karam. Don't put that on somebody else now. Take responsibility. Because if you keep saying that, God made that, God is meant to be, then what we're saying is I'm not going to take responsibility of my actions. I'm not going to live consciously. I'm not going to now consciously sow the next seed. Yeah, and we're just going to wait for somebody to come and do it for me.